Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Saturday morning. I wanted to share with you what I was thinking right before I got on here. It's Saturday, so no technical day job obligations. The sun is shining amazing. It's like 60 degrees already, which I know, depending on where you're listening from, may not sound like all that great, but I'll take it. And I was going through how am I going to set up my day? And I want to go for a bike ride because it's beautiful. I want to be outside. And this is going to be a struggle for the next couple weeks or next couple beautiful days. It's going to be a matter of priorities. So as I was going through my thought process, I landed at, yesterday I felt like I was on top of the world by starting my day with a bike ride. So I think I'm going to go for a bike ride. But what I wanted to share with you, and I realized the reason I do it is because it's like a practical application. Yesterday, I told you about it, which made it stick in my mind more. And even though I have a nice, healthy to-do list, I think I could be more productive if I go out, get a couple hours in, and come back and then kick butt at the other things that I did. You know, it's kind of like having the reward up front. Although I am golfing this afternoon too, so that's part of the inner struggle is I'm already getting one reward. But we've been locked up for a while, and I feel like I am due the nice weather, especially after my, not super news yesterday about the audit. Jeez. The other thing I thought was a light bulb moment for me, so to speak, is I did go to the Justin concert last night in my living room. And they're always just so amazing. And he always over-delivers. He went longer than the show was scheduled for an hour, and he was cutting close on time, so we got him to give him more time. I'm still nervous about July being pushed back, but I'm going to keep that out of my mind because these are just as, it's different than being at a real concert, but it feels, I'm not a big crowd person. It feels like he's just singing to me. Like it's my show every time he does this. So I'm kind of okay with this format too. But anyway, last night, his music is emotional in general, and with some of the memories or thoughts that I have associated with it, it can get me wound up. So what I thought was interesting, or I don't know if this is true or it was true for me, I wonder so I sat there and I cried for a couple songs and, I laughed at a couple things. Like, it's just very emotionally driven. And I wonder, by getting it out in that healthy way, like I was doing nothing wrong to no one. I'm just listening to music and crying on my couch or laughing on my couch. Is that a way to get some of those heavy duty emotions that would drive us to go bet? Like that's the whole premise, I think, of self-care and doing these, positive things, so to speak. I know crying doesn't sound all that positive, but it's better than if, let's say, I was still going to the office and I had built up emotions. I didn't even know that I had whatever came out last night in me, but it came out, and it wasn't like I was a pressure cooker when something that shouldn't have bothered me, exploded, for example. So I'm kind of managing, or not intentionally in this particular case, like I didn't know that was going to be the benefit, but kind of managing my emotions or taking care of them. For me, once I got rid of the past stuff, we've talked about this before, the fifth step and clearing the stuff, I only have to take care of what's happening now, the emotions I feel now, the situations, the present. I only have to deal with the present. And it's nice. So if I released whatever I needed to release last night, now it's like, okay, full steam ahead. Let's focus on the good stuff, like my to-do list or going outside. Okay, I had a mouthful before even doing the reading this morning, so let's see what the reading's all about. It starts with a quote from Horace. Anger is a short madness. When we're angry, our minds and bodies are completely involved. Our blood is pumping, our pulse races, our breathing is fast and furious, and our brains are on a temporary hold. We are no longer rational beings. We become anger machines, ready to put up our fists and fly off the handle on a second's notice. In recovery, we want to be different, and learning to deal with anger is a good place to start. We've learned we can't afford the luxury of split-second thinking. That's what got us into trouble before, and it'll do it again if we let it. How do we deal with anger? We can turn our anger over to God, and we can pray or meditate to find peace. Or we can try a rational approach, working on understanding the other person's point of view. We can honestly vent our anger, or we can simply retreat, backing away until the anger subsides, and we can think more clearly. All of these methods give us a chance to get our breath and think twice before flying off. Now, we don't have to act on every feeling or react to everything that happens. We can choose how we will handle anger. If our choice turns out to be inappropriate, we can learn from that as well. Today, let me treat my anger as a tool for growth and not an enemy. There's some crossover in that to a lot of things we talk about, but the symptoms of relapse, the passive aggressive, I think was one of the ones that this reminded me of. How do we deal with anger? And I like that it tells us, turn it over to God, pray, meditate, try being rational and understanding the other person's point of view. Yeah, that's not always easy, is it? Anger machines. Really makes it sound like a violent movie the way that they're describing it in there. So that could be one of the feelings that I released last night. Maybe I wasn't crying about the music at all. Maybe I was crying about my taxes because I was angry about having to do all that extra work associated with it. So it could be anything. So the key is, how are we taking care of ourselves to deal with that anger? I'm not saying anybody is not entitled to feel it. It's just, what are we doing to deal with it? And I think you're going to always hear me say, the positive kind of items or stress relief items. But sometimes there's just stuff we have to get off our chest, right? I know last year when I was angrier, I didn't, even though I was trying all the right ways, I still had a snapping point, and it taught me a very, very important message and lesson, because when I finally did freak out and act in anger, what I did was I act in a way that wasn't aligned with my values and who I want to be. And I really, really was upset with myself. So it generated more feelings. It was, I didn't handle my anger correctly. So then I started feeling guilt. I felt frustration. I felt shame that I acted that way. And I felt angry at myself for acting that way. So no good came out of, treating another person badly, poorly. It doesn't heal the original anger. Just like, I think I told you, I had reached out to one of my friends that I don't even know that I was angry, but it feels much better to be aligned with my people and not harboring these angry feelings. I was angry a couple weeks ago when the lady kicked me out of our gym here when I wasn't hurting anyone, and it was funny because I could so see my old school attitude. I wanted to have my pissy pants. Well, fine. She yelled at me. I'm not going to talk to her anymore. I'm not going to stop by the office. I'm not going to be friendly. F her. You know, like that was exactly where my mind went. So that's, 3 years away from a bet. It's 5 years today away from a drink. And I still think that way. So really, is this about our addiction, or is this about our personalities and our MOs and the things that make us tick, or the things that help us cope with life and situations and things? It's horrible that mean stuff comes up for me as a go-to with anger as a first. I was telling you about wanting to be nice to that guy who was a jerk to us in line. Like, maybe we should buy his coffee since he was, concerned about being a jerk. That's where I want to be programmed. I want to be programmed to, when anger shows up, do a positive thing, and I'm not saying bury the feelings, but turn the feelings. I've heard recently that, and I believe this, if we come from a place of gratitude, it's hard to feel any negative emotion when you're being grateful. I don't know if that was like a Tony Robbins thing. See, even when I talk to you guys, once it's on an episode, I don't necessarily remember what I said when. That's just how I'm feeling at the moment. But so I don't know. Anger probably has its purpose, but I think we need to be mindful of how it comes out. Counselor in rehab told me I was not allowed to be angry for more than 30 seconds. And that was an interesting practice, and I can remember doing it for a while when I got out. I can remember specifically doing it in this one place. Kansas City had a lot of traffic and a lot of big highways, and I can remember doing it out loud, like on a Friday night trying to get somewhere in traffic. Going, oh, nope, you're allowed only 30 seconds. And if we do that and we try to reset and only give ourselves the 30 seconds, I know life is more peaceful. We can get more chill. So I'm going to continue to reprogram myself the best I can through self-awareness and practice. I always want pleasant things to be my first response. And I haven't been really awesome at doing that when I'm angry. All right. Those are my anger thoughts for today. I am going to go ride a bike right now because it's gorgeous. So I'm going to leave you, and I'll be back tonight, and we will work on, oh goodness, tonight's symptom is it's a true one. All right. I'm going to leave you in suspense till then. Have a great day, beautiful people. Talk to you later.